All right, let's hop in here and check out the new event, Verge of Silence. A little excited to try this out because this is a no-loss event, so it should be pretty fun. We're going to use my Megathron Navy, hop in and see what we can do.
Undocking.
Oh, looks like we got mostly super carriers here. Well, don't mind me. I'm just going to scooch in here, gather a little bit of data real quick, see if I can get some points for this event. And it should be just mostly AFK as long as I don't... Okay, no, that's not cool. Okay, look, we're getting attacked here. Got the Phoenix bodyguard putting in some damage on me here. Looks like he doesn't want me taking any points from his node. We'll just try and hold out as long as we can. Doesn't look like I can warp off anyway because he's got me scrammed. So we'll just see how much damage he does. Maybe this will be a good test to see how much damage. Oh no, got another ship locking onto me here. Okay, it looks like we got some fighters circling around. All right, let's into armor now. Okay, taking a little bit of damage. Let's try and gather what we can, I guess. See if we get any points. Not really sure why they're attacking me, but we'll hit the DCU. It's too late. Okay. Well, it's no loss, so let's just hop back in there, see if we can give it another shot here. We'll try a different node. See, no, still super carriers around here and going down pretty quickly. I'm not going to have a chance to get any points there. Okay, well, just keep trying, I guess. You know, it's no loss, right? No, nothing worth it. All right. Okay, nope, that's... See, I just want a little bit of points, guys. Just if I could just last for like maybe 40 seconds at least, just so I can get a little. Okay, guys, seriously, can I just scooch in, get a little bit of points? All right, that's it. You know what? Last sight, I'm gonna give this a shot, and we're gonna see if there's anybody here. Okay, just a C. Maybe he's gonna be AFK. We can just gather up some points. Looks like it's what Tom Echoes is here, just getting some points. But this is good. We finally found a node where we're not going to be attacked right away. We're going to have a chance to participate in this new Eve Echoes event. I'm not really sure what the points will buy you in the store. Haven't really looked at that yet. But as long as we're able to gather as much as we can. Oh, no, we got an APOC landing here. Hopefully he's not going to be aggressive. Let's see where he lands at. No, he's pretty close to the node. Maybe he just wants to come in here, gather a few points as well. You know, nothing wrong with other people coming in, wanting to get some points for this event, learn to participate. Oh, no, he's locking on. Okay, he's locking on. Let's get him locked back. We got double scramblers and a web. Let's try and keep him within range. I just don't want to go down him. You know, I didn't really want to... Wait, what is that? Are we taking... We're taking too much damage here. What's going on here? Tom? Tom, is that you? Science's locked onto us here? Tom, why? What did I do? No, the APOC locked onto me first, Tom. Tom, why? Tom, come on! We had something good! Tom! Tom! Hello pilots and welcome back to another Eve Echoes video. My voice is kind of shot from being sick for the last week and a half, so I apologize if I'm a little bit rough around the edges, but we're going to try and get this video out to you because I have a lot of content to showcase here. So first time going out of my filament realm, I'm using one of the red filaments. So that's going to put us directly into a system where there's an enemy already in it. I've been actually using these a lot more than the orange filaments because the orange ones will take you to an empty zone. And while that can be useful for getting away from enemies quickly and getting to a safe NPC station, I find that actually chasing somebody down and tackling them is a lot easier if you can just jump into the system that they're already in and get about a 30-second head start surprise attack. So right here you can see we've scanned down a rattlesnake and I am in my fiend. Usually I don't try and take out the drone ships, but because the rattlesnake is going to be using large drones, we should have a decent time with our orbit as long as he doesn't switch to something medium or have any speed boosting mods in his low slots. This is a great situation also because this system is completely empty besides this one player, so we know that if he does call for help, he's going to be calling from systems away from him, so there's going to be some time to respond. So let's see if we can jump onto this rattlesnake. We are a little bit outside of our bubble range. Bubble range is about 29 kilometers on my fiend, but we can scoot over there real quick with our medium afterburner and get within range to throw up our bubble before he's able to warp off. Now we're going to get our orbit going, so we're going to get into our optimal range at about 16-17 kilometers, and we'll just activate one heat sink for now to start applying the DPS. And we don't know how tanky this thing is going to be, and he is already at half shields, but it looks like he has some resistance mods going because we are doing about half as much damage as I usually do per hit. He's not locking us back though, so he's probably AFK or was AI ratting. So we'll go ahead and turn on our second heat sink, and we're just going to try and get to our max focus charge crystal level as soon as possible. He's activated the last wave on here, but the NPCs are not going to attack because these are just mining NPCs. So that's pretty good for us. We don't have to worry about any NPC debuffs stacking on top of us. And since rattlesnakes and their likely counterparts cobras are going to be mostly shield tank ships, as soon as we get through his shield, we should be pretty good to get him down. So we're going to activate our new one little tick here just to see if we can get rid of his mods, take a little bit of his capacitor down, although we don't want to drain our capacitor too much because we do have that penalty from jumping into the system right away. It took away half of our capacitor once we jumped in. Still hasn't locked us back, so definitely still AFK ratting. Doing some AI ratting most likely. I'm going to lock onto his drones just to see what he has and be ready in case they start attacking, but it looks like it's the large drones, so they're probably going to have a hard time tracking us anyway, and I won't have to take them out or web them down at all. You can see we had almost 4,000 DPS going consistently with our Dragon Chant activated. Although our heat sinks are on cooldown, we are at our full focus crystal charge. Wish I could get that implant up a little bit more, but I've been spending a lot more time on the high power coil implant for my Megathron Navy. All right, Rattlesnake is yellow boxing and red boxed us now, so it looks like his low shield warning woke him up, and he is at his computer or phone now, and we're going to start getting some attacks from these drones. Luckily, like I said before, they're going to be large drones, and we're already halfway, almost all the way through his armor, so we can pretty much ignore those drones and take him out. I think with my orbit speed of 3,200, the large drones aren't going to be able to track us or catch up anyway. And it doesn't look like he has any E-War on us with his mid slots either. So we should be pretty good to just take him down here now that we're in hull. Still maintain our full focus charge crystals. And should be smooth sailing from here. No ads, no other players joining local. Nice, easy kill for us. Nice, easy AFK kill for us here. There we go. All right, so let's begin the cleanup here. We'll go ahead and take all the loot that he dropped from his wreck. We'll turn off our bubble just in case somebody warps in on us. And we'll go ahead and get to a safe spot and check out that kill mail. Give him a good fight in local just because he was actively playing. He did come back at the end there. He just didn't have any ways to disable us. You know, I think we were outside of web range, outside of scram range anyway, which is one of the ideal things for the Fiend, is that you can orbit with your optimal range outside of any webs. So you don't have to worry about that if they aren't a Vindicator or Balgorn, for example. All right, let's head over to the sun. We got 1+1 in local here. I know this is kind of a busy area over in Fountain, so I got to be careful with my locations. I don't want to get taken out while I'm checking out the inventory. And not too bad it drops here. We'll deselect the filaments, and yeah, you can see about 225 million from that rattlesnake kill. Not too bad. I'll warp around to a planet here just to get a little bit of a safer location, just in case more ads come, because I do want to check out that kill mail and see what fit he was running with. Yeah, we'll head over to this planet. We'll set up a safe bookmark, and then we'll open up the kill mail and see what we got. 3.3 billion for a rattlesnake is actually pretty good, so I will take that. We're going to go ahead and screenshot it and share it with the Alliance. All right, let's move on and find another fight. You know, it's really hard to find a good 1v1 cruiser fight in nullsec, so we're going to go ahead and do a duel in lowsec here with a player named Vexor. Vexor is going to be in a Cinnable, and we're going to be trying out our Fiend build with a little bit more of a tanky fit. I still have my DPS rigs in the combat side, but we have 2 hardeners in the low slots just because I wasn't sure what I was going to be running up against. Most of the time, I'm pretty confident when I go against Cinnables or other tier 1 faction cruisers, just because they have kind of lower stats typically than the higher cruisers. So like normally where I would be afraid of running against a Celios, I am a little bit more secure fighting a Cinnable here. You can see we've landed about 50 kilometers away from each other. I'm just going to kind of test him out. We can let him burn over to us. We're going to try and keep our angle at him because we don't want to come in at a straight line. So we come at an angle at first, and then once we get close enough, I'm going to turn on that afterburner and see if we can maintain an orbit. I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to hit a cruiser with my orbit, but it is going to prevent a lot of the damage against us by being able to maintain an orbit outside of web range. You'll notice in my mid slots, I still have that bubble mod just because I wanted to kind of keep to a realistic feel of what I would be running out in nullsec if I did engage this Cinnable out in null, and I would probably throw up my bubble if I got close enough as well. So I wanted to keep that to a more realistic fitting, although I could have fit something else. All right, now that we're close enough, let's go ahead and throw our orbit on, get our orbit set to around 17 kilometers, and make sure that he has a hard time hitting us. Although it does look like he has one tracking disruptor in his mid slots, so that's going to make it a lot harder for us to hit him as well, especially with our faster orbit and him not being able to put any webs on us. Now, theoretically, I could just large neutralizer him out here at this range and just waste his capacitor because he's not able to hit me and then kind of move in afterwards. But I'm actually going to do this a little bit more aggressively, and I'm just going to come in here on a straight approach, get within web range, and we're just going to try and take as much damage as we can. If we're on a straight approach and he's not moving and we're not moving, that tracking disruptor really isn't going to mean a whole lot. Even if it reduces our range, our optimal is around 17 kilometers, and the range adjustment is going to take it to around 8 to 10 anyway. So this is kind of ideal situation. He does have us webbed and scrammed, but that tracking disruptor is going to be pretty much useless at this point and at this range. He activates his extender in the low slot to try and buy himself some more time, but all that's going to do is to delay the inevitable because I still have an extender as well, and I have my DCU still off cooldown. We'll go ahead and throw up our extender right now just to kind of buy us a little bit more so that we can get full focus charge crystal charges and really put the pressure on him here. We still have that DCU if he does put any more damage to our shields. And we're sitting pretty good because I'm pretty sure he's a shield tank with that extender. We'll use our Dragon Chant here just to show off. We're going to make him deselect us. That's going to drop the tracking disruptor and make it a lot easier to just pound that damage in. And by the time he's got us locked back on, it's going to be too late. We're into his armor, taking him down, a couple of shots. He's got us back locked on and scrammed and webbed, but it's too late. There we go. Nice little fight there. Thank you, Vexor, for the 1 versus 1. And that's pretty much how my fights with Cinnables go. We will give Vexor a good fight in local. Always give the good fight, especially in a duel. And we will go and head on to our next challenge. We've got another 1 versus 1 cruiser that has challenged me to another duel. Okay, we've got another 1 versus 1 challenge out here in low sec. You'll notice in my mid slots, I did get rid of that large neutralizer. That's just because I didn't have time to go back and switch it out from hunting, but we still have the double webs, so that should be pretty good to hold the enforcer in place. And this is going to be a little bit more of a challenging fight because this ship is pretty tough. Not just his fit, but the actual stats of the enforcer make it kind of comparable, if not better, than all of the other heavy faction cruisers. So the Enforcer pilot is going to be Crazy Dutchman, and he's been eager to show off his fit to see if he can take me on 1 versus 1. So I'm kind of curious what he's running here. We'll come in and do our typical orbit, but we have to beware because, yep, he has those long range webs. So Enforcer has longer range on the webs than other cruisers. So similar to an Ashimu, he's going to be able to kind of kite us out away from our optimal range, and our orbit is going to do absolutely nothing to keep him from hitting us. So double webs and not sure if it's large or medium, but double NOS in the mid slots are going to make it really hard for us to wear him down. We can't get in close. I mean, we kind of can scoot in on an approach, but then we're going to just be giving him straight shots as well. So it's kind of a trade-off here. I'm going to have to activate my extender a little bit early. You can see we're not even, looks like he's armor tanked because he is doing some extender in the armor area. And we're not doing a whole lot of damage to him. I think he's running a repair and an extender in the mid slots. Man, this is gonna be rough. So he's got double NOS, probably so that he can keep that rep active, and we're just never gonna be able to get through him. Usually the Fiend has a capacitor advantage because it doesn't use a whole lot of capacitor with that afterburner in the low slots. And even with me being passive tank, he's probably winning the capacitor war because he has the double NOS in the mids. So right there, I activated my Dragon Chant just so that I could approach and get it in range of my webs, because my webs are at about 13 kilometers, and I didn't want him holding me out here at 16 while he maintains an orbit. Although I don't even think he's moving. I think he's just completely sitting still and tanking all the damage that we can dish out. So I'm at full focus crystal charge here, and I am just not even getting to half of his armor. He's continually repping, and I'm sure his capacitor is just sitting pretty with those double NOS on me as well. So he's probably going to drain me out before I am able to wear him down, especially because he is armor tanked and I am shield tanked, and I know as soon as I get into the armor range, I'm going to be going down pretty quick. It also looks like I lost all of my focus crystal charges when I activated that dragon chant because I started swinging around really fast and missed one of my shots. That is the disadvantage of using the focus crystal implant. So if you miss one shot, you got to start all the way over. So again, my DPS is going to go all the way back to low, and we're not going to have enough to kind of catch up and burn through his capacitor like I wanted to. So at this point, I know I'm not going to be able to break him from this range. The only thing I'm going to be able to try is to get out past 20 kilometers and get outside of his webs so that I can get my full-on orbit going and he's not going to be able to hit me. It doesn't look like he's using a speed mod in low, so he's probably not going to be moving pretty fast anyway. So we'll go ahead and set our orbit to around 20 kilometers, see if we can swing outside of his web range so that he can't hit us at all, and see if we can apply any damage with our lasers. Normally, you don't want to do this when you're double webbed because when your ship goes to try and hit that orbit, it's going to have to go in a straight line at first, and then you're going to take the full brunt of any turret damage. So it's not really a good idea to do this. I should have done this when I used my Dragon Chant originally, but we're kind of in a disadvantage here at this point, going at low shield. My extender is almost off a charge though, so if I can get out to around 23 kilometers orbit, we can probably break his webs off of us and take a little bit less damage. The real question is, am I going to be able to apply any of my damage with my full orbit speed? Okay, so we're sitting at about 23 kilometers away from him now. I think we're just outside of his web range, maybe 24 kilometers. And yeah, he's deactivated the webs, or they're not on us at all. The NOS is still on us, but we don't know if it's a large or a medium. If it's a medium, he probably can't reach us anyway. So our capacitors hold him pretty good, but again, we're not able to do enough damage to him because he's just so tanky. So even though we could warp off at this and just call it a draw, I still want to see what his max web range is. So I'm going to scoot in just a little bit closer and see where we're at. 22 kilometers. Let's see if he reactivates them. Got to really try and get into our optimal of 16.9 kilometers on the weapons. We'll throw on our extender just to buy us a little bit of shield recharge time. And you can see that takes us into low capacitor as well. Try to scoot in a little bit more on our orbit. Yeah, I'm still not able to hit him or build focus crystal stacks. Looks like he is doing possibly a slow orbit around us now with no speed mod in the lows. But overall, I think he's just so tanky with the repair and with the armor extender that I'm just not going to be able to do any damage to him at this range. We can move in a little bit more. I kind of wanted to just see what the web range is on an enforcer, just so I know for future reference. So we'll do our orbit at 21, set our orbit at 16. Yeah, we'll try and get back in here and see if we can do anything to him. Maybe he's at low capacitor at this point from repping. But I think that by the time we get into that range, there his webs go. We're not really going to have a whole lot of time to get our orbit going. And even though we're going to start building up our focus crystals again, we are down on our extender. I have to activate the DCU just to buy us some time. And man, I am just not able to break whatever tank he's running. I'm going to fast forward the rest of this fight because it's pretty much the same thing. Me trying to hold an orbit at 16 kilometers, sitting at around 2,000 DPS with my max focus crystal charges, and him just whittling me down little by little over time. So his capacitor is not going anywhere. My capacitor is slowly fading. And I think it is at this point where I realize that I'm just not able to break through the amount of defense he has. So a very defensive build, very much able to withstand some high DPS numbers, especially from my fiend. You know, my fiend really puts out the DPS when he gets the full charge with that Dragon Chant activated. So being able to withstand that is really great. The only downside is that he doesn't have any way to disrupt me from warping away. So while this is a very tanky build and it'll keep you alive for a long time for allies to arrive, it's not going to be super optimal for hunting because you're not going to keep a target in place long enough to take them out. So great dual build from Crazy Dutchman here, but not great for overall hunting, I would say. You have to have some kind of a disruption, whether it's a disruptor or a scrambler in the mid slots in order to prevent your target from warping away. So you can see here, I'm just freely able to warp away, even as soon as I know the fight is over, and then we end up in a draw. Although technically he won that fight. Now, something I wanted to try because I was actually really curious is how would he deal with my offensive fit? So his active defense outwon my passive defense, but let's see if my active offense can overwhelm him here. I've got triple heat sinks in the low slots, still have the large extender, but I have a large newt in the mids, and we're going to try and whittle down his capacitor so that he can't heal through my damage, and just try to throw out as much DPS as him as we can muster. I'm going to come in here with an approach and just double web him instead of trying to maintain an orbit, because I know maintaining an orbit with him having those long range double webs is not going to matter anyway. We'll activate all 3 of our heat sinks in the low slots and try to get to max focus charge crystal. He's already gone through our extender shield though, so we're not going to have a whole lot of time left, especially without the DCU. I'm going to activate the Dragon Chant now just so he slows down on his damage and it buys us some more time. I'm already at 4,300 DPS, but I know I have more room to go to, although the heat sinks are going to start to come off cooldown. We are building up that focus charge crystal fast, and we are wearing him down, although he activates that armor that armor extender right there, and all of our DPS is going to go to complete waste. Man, that is a lot of damage to have to try and put through to eat that shield up. So by the time that we're going to be getting into our armor here, he is still repping and not out of capacitor, so we're going to have to just warp away. Yeah, sitting at a passive 3,400 DPS with this build is not going to be enough. He is slowly ticking back up to full health, and I'm sure he's got some other way to, maybe a DCU in the low slots as well, to prevent any damage. So he's definitely going to win this race in the end. So again, the one downside to his build is that I can warp away at any time, but in a 1v1 duel, I have no chance, even with my massive fiend build, of taking out this enforcer. So good fight to Crazy Dutchman. Thank you very much for the duels. And that was a good test to see how my DPS fit and my defensive fit went against an enforcer. You can see they are just the superior class ship once you really build it out. All right, so the next clip is going to be a fun one. We've got a Marzio tackled out in low sec. Tom Plum has found a ratter out there, so we're going to go ahead and jump into tier 1 assault ships. This is just going to be active rep assault ships that we use that can get underneath turret ship guns, and then we can just orbit nice and close and take them out with our numbers and not have to bring battleships, battle cruisers, you know, things that you would normally bring faction battleships to this kind of a fight. When you can get in real close and have fun with small ships, it's actually, I think the funnest thing that you can do in this game still is to use small ships in gang PvP. So we're just going to throw together a quick fit for our Merlin assault here. We've got an active NOS in the mid slots to keep our active rep in the low slots going. I have a DCU and an afterburner, just keep a nice tight orbit. I did think about going to armor reppers instead of shield, but I think Merlin is better with the armor repper, so we're going to stick with that DCU just as an emergency warp off tactic. And I used the Merlin instead of the Incursus because it was the only one I could find a nanocore for. Going to make sure we've got our implant set to that high power coil implant. There we go. That's going to be more damage than the kinetic implant. We don't need the extra range, we just need the active damage that the high power coil is going to provide. All right, we've arrived into the low sec system from Jita, and we're going to go ahead and take that bookmark that our teammates have set up for us. This is a safe grid bookmark away from the ship so that we can warp in safely and then warp straight to one of our partners or the ship from there. Got about 5 people in the local list, so it looks like I'm not too late to the party here. And as you can see, when we warp in, we're going to be about 500 kilometers off. That's okay. Let's go ahead and stop that autopilot just so we can have it activatable if we need to warp away. And we can't warp straight to the ship, but we can warp to one of our teammates that's going to be in an assault ship close to the target. So that should put us pretty close. If we do start to get locked on or take any damage, we can activate that DCU until we get right underneath this guy's guns. And we're going to have these small snub nose going for extra damage. Looks like we got some more people arriving here. We got 7 in local now. The Marzio is locking back onto me, but I'm pretty sure if he doesn't have that level 45 implant, he's not going to be able to hit me at all at this range. Most of these ratting ships are running long range guns, and if you can't get webs on me with a good separation, you're just not going to be able to hit a small ship like this. So again, we'll go ahead and fast forward through this fight because as you can see, we are all in tier 1 assault ships, and we're just going to kind of whittle this Marzio down over time.
I see you running like a rabbit. I think you know what's coming next, so you better keep on running, but I'm gonna get you. Rabbit. Run. Rabbit. Rabbit. Run. I'm gonna get you. Get, 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 get.
All right, almost got him down into half hull, so we'll go ahead and zoom in and get a nice little kill shot here, little cinematic moment. I try to do this whenever possible when I know that I absolutely can't be hit, but it's actually really scary because you can't see any of the screen when this is going on, so it's kind of a risk. So let's take him down here, get a nice explosion shot. Boom, very nice. Okay, love it. Oh, something I forgot to mention. After we kill a ship in the assault frigate fleet, it's an all-out free-for-all brawl. And the free-for-all is on here. We're going to target Big Stink because he's the closest to us with our Merlin Assault. We have small range with our snub-nose guns in the high slots, but I have almost full charge on that high power coil and a small afterburner to get us a nice close approach. Once we get them locked on, we're going to go ahead and turn on our guns to get some straight shots from a distance, hit that scrambler, web, and nos, and get a nice, good, strong shots into his armor here. Not sure what fit he's running, but it doesn't matter because a small ship is going down real fast. We've got active reps in our low slots just to get any residual damage off of us, and we're going to take them down real quick with our 700 DPS assault ship. All right, let's make our way over to the next target here. Next closest is going to be Yags. It's in a Punisher Assault, but we are 45 kilometers away, so it's going to be hard to get over with that small afterburner. This ship is surprisingly pretty quick, though, with a level 10 afterburner GU, so we are running at about 1,600 meters per second, and we're going to be within range pretty quickly. Hopefully, we can get over there before the target gets finished off, and we can get that extra kill mail. Come on, warping in here. Quickly going to switch over to this other Punisher Assault who looks like he is going down in hull. See if we can get that kill mail and finish that target off. Don't want him repping up to full and coming back. Got our web, got our scrambler on him. Yeah, he's doing some really good job repping here. We'll activate that high power coil and get some more damage put on him. Nice shot there, 1,500, 1,300. Okay, come on, we're edging it out, 1,200, almost down. And wow, he's doing a great job of hanging on here. I am going to have to start orbiting pretty soon because it looks like I'm getting some more people attacking us. All right, nice job. Under Punisher Assault finished off there. I don't think I got the kill mail, but that's okay. Let's move on to the next target. Looks like Smurlin is in range of us. Our webs and our scrambler are going to automatically switch over to him, so we'll get an approach going on this target. We'll try and orbit because we're taking a little bit too much damage here and we need our shield to rep us back up. Let's put on that DCU in case we're getting double teamed. Not sure who's hitting us, and we get another target down. Very nice. Looks like it was Fat Troll with his Incursus Assault that got the kill, so we'll switch over to him, see if we can take out that ship. And we get some nice straight shots on him here. Not sure if he is active repping, so this is going to be a little bit difficult because they have that active rep bonus on the Incursus Assault. It's kind of why I prefer to use that one over the Merlin, but we'll use our shield here to try and stay alive and just edge it out. Come on, working way halfway through his armor here. It's not looking good, and it looks like we've got two players attacking us at the same time, and we're not going to be able to hold out. Our DCU goes down, and our shield is not going to be able to rep in time to keep us alive. Ah, lost out on the free-for-all. I want you to look me in the eye and tell me that that wasn't more fun than the Marzio fight. You can't do it. Let's check out the Lost Mail first. Yep, there's the Merlin Assault, only 192 million. It looks like Zumba got us in the end there, so with a little bit of help from other pilots, of course. And the Marzio kill mail, I ended up getting, I got the 9.9 billion ISK Marzio kill mail in the Merlin Assault. Very fun. Now, just after the Marzio and free-for-all kills, we've got reports of a succubus in the same system going 10k MS. And you know who else can go 10k MS? That's right, it is large afterburner fiend time. We've got triple inertia stabilizers in the low slots just so that I don't swing around too much, and we've got double webs and a scrambler in the mids, plus a large neutralizer just in case he happens to have enough capacitor to get away from me. My goal here is to get the succubus, but we are going to warp in on a Paraxis 2 with our ships trying to take him on from the Incursus, I should say the assault frigate fight. So when I land on grid here, I do get a little bit discombobulated and kind of lose my bearings for a second. I'm going to go ahead and warp over to a partner here just in case, because I'm not sure if this is a base anomaly and if it's too close to the NPC or a station so that it's going to attack me. I can't really tell because I'm kind of just completely lost on my bearings here. But I do see the frigate about 200 kilometers away, and I do see the Praxis 2 on my overview. So So let's go ahead and target an ally here and get a little bit away from the station just so I can kind of zoom out and check and see what's going on. One of my biggest weaknesses as a player, especially in PvP, is knowing what to do in the chaos of battle. And this is one of those situations where I just completely lose it. I'm going ahead and lock on to that succubus because that is my primary target. And I can see it's about 300 kilometers away, which is not that far when we've got a large afterburner going. I try to send a message in chat to see if this is too close to the base because I'm just not used to fighting at these base anomalies. But I say, you know what? Screw it, backspace. Let's just go for the succubus and whatever happens, happens. So let's get back to that overview there. We can see he's about 300 kilometers off. We're going to go ahead and select him, and we're just going to go ahead and do an approach. I'm not going to target him yet because I don't want him to know we're coming, and I don't want him to know that we're locking on. We don't want us popping up on the overview in case he gets any ideas to run away. As you can see, we got that large afterburner going. We're not going to activate those inertias until we get a little bit closer. We'll lock on both targets here. We're coming in real quick here. You can see almost pushing 10K. Underneath 100 kilometers away from him, and we'll activate both of our inertias just so we don't swing around too much and just keep tapping on those webs so that hopefully we can get in range. If both of those, yeah, we swung around a little bit too much here, but that's okay. We'll get the large nuke going because there's no range on that. Activate our third inertia, and we should be within range to grab him right here. Double webs and scrambler. There we go, nice and close. Luckily, we had that third inertia in the low slot so that we can swing around close enough to him to get within range of those webs, but we got him double webbed and scrammed. I don't think he can warp off unless he is severely stabbed. He's going to try and activate some shield repair there, but it's not going to be enough, and we're going to basically just two-shot him with him sitting still as double webbed. Very nice. So finally, the 10K MS Fiend comes in handy. All right, now let's move over to the Praxis 2. This is going to be a battleship-sized ship, I believe. I've never fought a Praxis 2 before, but I do know that it has drones, and I'm a little bit worried about drones because with the large Afterburner Fiend, we can't really orbit. We're going to have to be going in a straight line. Orbit is just not going to work. Either we're going to burn through too much capacitor trying to set our speed lower so that we can actually orbit because the large Afterburner is going to take more capacitor, or we're just going to have to go in a straight line and hopefully he doesn't target us. It looks like the Praxis had his drones withdrawn to protect them from the small ships that were attacking him. But now that we're here, I think he's going to go ahead and lock onto us, get some debuffs going. Maybe that's the NPCs with the debuffs, but he's going to go ahead and lock onto us and see if he can do any damage. So the goal here is going to be just to try and take out the drones as much as we can. We'll put on double webs and scrambler just so that he is not going anywhere and so that we can get some nice straight shots on him. But you can see my speed. I'm just sitting still to try and get as much shots as possible. I have the large burner afterburner activated still just because I forgot to turn it off, but definitely should have turned it off there to save some capacitor. And you can see now he's got us fully targeted. We are going to be starting to take some damage from those drones. Now that the drones are hitting me, I'm going to go ahead and just activate the DCU and try to burn off into the distance, see if we can pull away from the drones, and maybe my partners here can get them webbed down. I believe they're large ogres. If they can get those large drones locked down, he won't be able to pull them back and use any bombard that he has. I realize my overview is still set to loot, so I'm going to have to change that so that I can see the drones on the overview because all the NPC rats are taking up the space up top. Okay, we're entering low capacitor because that large afterburner drains a lot more, but we do have the drones selected and they are ogres, so those are going to be slower drones. If we can get in nice and close, double web them, we should be able to get some nice straight shots and take them out pretty quick. Let's get both webs on this ogre. Oh, looks like he pulled him back. Okay, we're gonna have to pull away from this ship again, wait for him to come out. Okay, there he goes. The drones come back, so those are probably bombard loaded drones. But we can lock them up real quick, get double webs on them, nice straight shots, and it looks like our partners are actually taking them down pretty easily. Not gonna need us to defang these things when we're in small ships, so very nice. Overview on the right there shows that we do have some medium drones coming out. Those are gonna be harder to deal with for our partners. We don't want them shooting our small frigates out of the sky, so we're going to try and take those out. Let's get a nice straight shot here with an approach to 10 kilometers. See if we can get within web range to slow it down. And you can see we're just not able to hit it because they're faster, those medium drones. Medium lasers not great for defanging, usually why I just go straight for the battleship. But we are doing a good job as a team of defanging, taking out these drones, so the battleship is not going to be a threat to anybody in the long term. Let's get that one double webbed. Take it out. Okay, very nice. Let's switch over to this one. Solid approach, double webbed. Okay, another straight shot. Looks like the Praxis 2 is either delocking or running out of capacitor. I at this point. I think it's just too many of us out here that every time he's going to launch more of those medium drones out, they're just going to be met with webs and quick shots selecting him. So it's just an inevitable case here of a battleship, a drone battleship going down to smaller ships. This is how you do it. This is similar to how you would take down a carrier as well. You want to web down the drones or the fighters and then take those all out before you take out the carrier, just so that it doesn't put out that bombard DPS. Launching some small drones now, which are going to be really hard for us to hit, but they are going to have a lot less health, so our small ships are going to be taking them out really quick. Let's focus fire on the battleship now and just try to put some more damage into this one. Doesn't look like he's going to be doing any DPS to us anymore, so we have our large afterburner turned off. Really good on capacitor, not going to need to move, and we're just going to sit here and do full damage with our full focus charge crystal going. We'll throw on a large newt just in case he has any defensive mods that he wants to heal with. And we always have that dragon chant button that we can push and throw on our large afterburner if we start to take some surprise damage as well. But looks like all his drones are defanged, so this should be a nice easy fight till the end. A nice smooth kill here and good teamwork all around from the other ships. So honestly, at this point, I'm not really sure if I was supposed to come in the Fiend or not, or if this was another one of those assault frigate fights that I was supposed to stay out of. But, you know, somebody said 10k MS Succubus, and I had to give it a shot with our 10k MS Fiend. So about halfway into armor here, but we are seeing some drones launched. We'll see if he locks onto us at all. These are large drones, so those are going to hurt. Gonna wait and see. Yep, nope, we got to lock those on. We got to defang these. Here we go. He's locked onto us. He's going to try and take us out because we're probably the largest target. So large drones going into a medium-sized ship is probably his best bet at this point. We'll try and lock on those, get double webbed, defang those just in case. Again, I don't have any repper. We do have a DCU just as an emergency, but I'd rather just sit here and not take any damage. There we go. Nice shot into that drone there, and that should be his last one. Okay, Team Fleet still doing their job here. We are down into hull for this Praxis 2. It should be smooth sailing. Let's try and get our webs and our scram put on him again. We want to try and stay within 12 kilometers so that those are active. We don't want him moving around. That's going to give us the best chance to put out as much DPS as possible. And I'll throw in Dragon Chant at the end just for fun. Nice shot, nice teamwork, and great job with the fleet there. Let's go ahead and check out the kill mail, see what we got with the Praxis and the Succubus. 1.2 billion for the Praxis, and we did get the kill mail. Very nice. Got the final shot on that one. Probably because we were in a cruiser and everybody else was in frigates. But the one that I was actually more proud about is the 2 billion Succubus kill. So we'll send that to Alliance. He was running a medium afterburner in the low slots. That's how he got up to 10k MS, but just wasn't fast enough. Just wasn't fast enough. Oh, hey. You're probably wondering why I'm in a Velator. I mean, who uses a Velator in Ebecos, right? It's like the basic starter frigs. Well, funny thing about that, we do.
Bugged off rattlesnake, tackled in Attica. Locked off rattlesnake, tackled in Attica. Locked off rattlesnake, tackled in Attica. Started frigs only.
I'll be switching to Kenny when he's low. Need a perfect kill mail. I got through 10%, shields not going hot, waiting for you guys. Oh yes, yes, yes. Locked off rattlesnake, tackled in Attica. Locked off rattlesnake, tackled in Attica. Locked off rattlesnake, tackled in Attica. Starter freaks only. Recorded grown, of course. My heart is breaking for you, fittings hell. On my way, 9 jumps coming. I'm not moving, 3 jumps. Fittings reaper, you got time. Need 5 to 2 rigs, wanna buy, can he drop in points, have shields?
Rip, I forgot heat sink. You're enough, you're enough, you're enough.
Locked off rattlesnake, tackled in Attica. Locked off rattlesnake, tackled in Attica. Locked off rattlesnake, tackled in Attica. Starter frigs only. Who brought the Punisher?
Me.
Venomous starters. Rear ship hold DPS when in hull. I stop, Venom ducking station, getting pardoned. Duck another station to get started then. Take bookmark.
All just venom, all is fine. Go
time as long as no weapon timer. Doesn't matter, just get into a starter.
Quick, get out venom.
Locked off rattlesnake, tackled in Eruka. Locked off rattlesnake, tackled in Eruka. Locked off rattlesnake, tackled in Eruka.
Starter freaks only. Kill rattlesnake, kill Velator Impera, Velator Reaper, Impera.
What a disaster.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Alright, that'll wrap it up for this video. Big thanks, real quick, to Crazy Dutchman, who was the player I fought in the Enforcer. He's a good friend of mine in the game now, and he was very generous in gifting me a Revelation. This is going to be my first Dreadnought in EVE Echoes, and I've spent a lot of Lazarus points reskilling to try and get this up to par so that I can use it in some more fleet combat. I'm taking some time in the Verge of Silence because this is a no-loss event where I can basically warp in and fight different kinds of ships. I can try out different kind of fittings and see what works and how to actually fly this thing, which you'll probably see coming up in this clip. I have no clue what the hell I'm doing. Still got a long way to go in the skills in order to skill up, in order to fight with this ship, but I am progressing slowly, and hopefully at some point I can get a nanocore from one of the events. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a comment down below if you have any questions or something you want to talk about. And as always, you can hit me up on Discord at Gromire or join the Gromire Gromlins Discord, which the link I'll put in the description for this video as well. Again, if the link is broken, that means that it's expired. I don't know why it does that, but go ahead and just direct message me and I'll give you a fresh link right then and there. Real quick, I also just want to say that I'm sorry that it's taking so long to get these videos out. It's very busy for me around the holidays with my work, and I was sick for about a week and a half, so I'm just trying to find time to log in, to find content, to actually put together the video and edit it, and to do voiceover work. It's really been a challenge to put all these things together and wrap it up into real life in a real life work schedule. So in between my videos, go out there, have fun, try out the Verge of Silence event while it lasts. I'm not sure if it's going to be a permanent fixture, but it's something to kind of mess around with and have fun with if you can find fun in warping in on a bunch of super capitals and getting instantly killed when you're trying to test out your tank. Yes, so much fun. Oh yeah, love it. Good test.